everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, March 23, 2024, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. There are as many great truths in our universe as there are stars in the sky. And yet, just like the billions of trillions of stars that exist, not all truths are created equal. This universe is not just made of black and white colors. If you look closer, a lot of people will look up in the sky and say, well, that's a starship, because it's blue, green, red, flashing. From our perspective, things look a lot of ways black and white. But in reality, they have a multitude of variances. We have this highly diverse, intelligent system which, it contains various degrees of truth, and not every truth will impact us the exact same way. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality. And the smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink, contract our experience of this life. Now, the good news is that we don't have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Our physical body will let us know, for our heart is the best guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth actually is. And whenever we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, a little miracle happens. Everything that once felt hard, heavy, and stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We feel lighter than air. We're filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside, which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking, and we experience our own source of consciousness. From here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective, and it can happen within milliseconds. And I use, Course in Miracles, some of the quotes out of those writings. That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. It may take people quite a while to spiritually digest this enormous truth into their minds, root it throughout their lives. The more you sit with this statement or quote, what is it that feels threatened inside of you? What is this personality, self, ego, or that thing you call you, which defends itself when feeling attacked or provoked? What is this little you who has a need to be on guard and protect itself, trying to assert itself, and attempting to achieve something important or worthwhile with their life? And then, who is this overly strong, confident, all-important you who compensates for the super small, unimportant you? It's the one who has been attempting to make your life secure by feeling self-important, accomplished, met in deep embrace by their beloved, and all the while is feeling a deep and constant separation from God. So the positive in all of this is that who we truly are has nothing to do with who and what we think we are. Nothing at all. Now, whenever we may think of and conceive of about ourselves with the mind, can only be a thought. And this little thought is too small, by far, to be who or what we are. Who and what we really are is beyond any spiritual understanding of the mind in this moment. And only this moment, we can find what is actually real. And this real thing is the only thing that liberates us, binds us at the same time. That which is real, the real you, does not change. And this essence is what remains the same for all eternity. Perhaps the most pivotal, enlightening truth that you may discover is understanding how all identification with the ego is based in some form of fear. When we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, and bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. The ego is clinging to some thought or a process of thoughts which believes deep down that it is not one with the divine. It thinks it is not loved, accepted, embraced, or enlightened. And a really great quote from Osho is, the more creative you become, the more godly you become. When your creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of your life is filled with creativity, you live in God. This is all about, this whole journey of ours on this planet is all wrapped around enlightenment. All the steps, all the avenues, everything. More enlightened we become, well, let's put it this way. The more enlightened that you discover that you are enlightened already, the higher your vibrational frequency will go. And everything that you know right now in this very moment, so far in this life that you are in, and that body, isn't anything that really who you are. And this is for all of us, this, which is our natural state of being, which is within us. We just don't have, we haven't correlated it, discovered it. Enlightenment is simply realizing again and again and again how to remain non-identified with one's ego. It's a pure seeing, a state. It's a pure seeing, understanding how the ego is the greatest illusion of them all. To intimately know and become identified with the real self. And the real self with all of us is that which cannot be threatened. It is the only true path to total freedom there is. All other paths lead to some form of suffering. Now, it requires no basic standard of ethics, codes of spirituality or religious background needed to arrive. We simply experience ourselves as the essence of consciousness that we naturally are. And see, we think we are the ego. And the ego has some truth to it, yet it's just not a very big truth. It's pretty small. It's a smaller truth which only castrates our ability to expand into love, trust, and a feeling of oneness. It's a fear-based program, simply put. And it is based in the opposite experience of trust. Whenever we are living in trust 24 hours a day, we start accessing all the wisdom and knowledge known to all the saints, masters, and enlightened beings throughout existence. We step into the greatest experience of our lives. We find our real true self and know that we are the real masters of our destiny. When we know our real nature, and we will discover our real nature, we can allow life to play its ego personality role through us and somehow not get in the way. We can sit back, go with the flow, enjoy the ride. We can remain fascinated by this life, learning how we are here to serve others, take care of our bodies, and simply let the all-intelligent life force move through us. This state of perpetual enjoyment of this life is real mastery. When we remain free from all forms of ego identification, we cannot help but to enjoy all aspects of this life. We allow a greater love to always guide our course and help us live with ease and grace in every way. The choiceless truth of who you are is revealed to be permanently here, permeating everything. Not a thing and not separate from anything. Gangaji. There is a divine orchestra of spiritual energy and consciousness happening all around us all of the time. And we're not always aware of it because our minds are so distracted and busy with those all too important things of this physical world. It's only when everything stops from some seemingly random event that we are thrown back to our real selves and can see, feel, and taste the bigger picture. In a few brief moments, the mind drops its game and we understand how divinely perfect everything is. It's kind of like a synchronicity, a destiny. The divine perfection of this universal orchestra is always on a perfect beat. It's continuously humming along, exploding into even more perfection, especially when we are in a bad mood, cannot see it. How or where it is happening. We are always within the womb of this universal beat, always connected with everyone, everywhere, in every dimension of time and space and beyond, all the time. When we open ourselves up to this possibility, then each moment we are able to see the real truth. We know how every moment can only be a spiritual merging experience of this universal synchronicity in our soul's destiny. Open your mind and heart to feel the connection with someone you know or would want to know, who is either very not here, dead, or very alive, either way. Reach out to that wild, free being who is somewhere in this universe. Just do it as an exploration to possibly awaken that same wild, free being within you. Just pick anyone who your heart would have to stretch beyond its normal limitations to open up and connect with them. Invite that special person into your heart space and imagine that this individual is here now, fully available to be with only you in this moment. You can drop the doubting, skeptical mind by just focusing on the vibration and feeling of trust. Let your heart relax into the experience and reach into the emotional connection you most wish to have. I believe if you just practice this for even a few minutes, you'll be surprised to find out that something magical starts to happen. You may not realize the depth of the magic which arises initially, yet stick with it. For wherever attention goes, we know that energy flows. Whatever experience you have is what was destined to happen. Anything can happen from just this simple intention and practice to break through the limitations of our doubtful, time-bound minds. And the inner journey we all have is completely worth it in the end. How long does it take to reach liberation? It is not to be gained in the future. It is there forever, here and now. Realization is for everyone. Realization makes no difference between the aspirants. This very doubt you have, whether you are realized or not, with the notion, I have not realized, are themselves the obstacles to realization. Be free from these obstacles, and see who you truly are. Ramana Maharishi. Is it possible for us to shift out of a bad day? We all have a bad day once in a while, don't we? See, now I don't believe that the only reason we have bad days, however, whatever you identify that, why do we have them? How do they come to be? You. How you respond to things in this physical material world. But, whether physically or emotionally or mentally, determines on how your day's going to be anyway. You start out, before you actually are out of bed, when you focus on your gratitude, and you've been focusing on the gratitude for a while, you won't have a bad day. It's all in perspective. It's all on how we generate as we exist in these physical material bodies. So we can shift out of a negative mood. And you do that is to recognize, realize, and honor the fact that you are the one creating and perpetuating this bad mood. Now, there's a lot of people that may believe, right, something outside of them is responsible for their happiness or unhappiness. Yet ultimately it all comes down to how you are responding. You ask yourself, are you seeing it as your teacher or your enemy? Happiness is always about the lens we are looking through. Truly enjoying this life is about taking radical responsibility for the state you're in. Exploring what this negative experience is teaching spiritually you, and then finding out the fastest way to let it go. Now, once any of us, not superficially, but through the heart-mind, it ultimately all comes down to how you are responding. Are you seeing it as your teacher or down to how your enemy? Happiness is always about the lens we are looking through. Truly enjoying life is about taking radical responsibility for the state you're in. Once any of us can say, I am the one creating this negative experience of my life, then half of the great battle is over. Learn how to step back from whatever you're resisting, fighting, judging, or hating. And see that actually it is just a bunch of thoughts. Our problems ultimately boil down to ideas that are ultimately passing through the synapses of our brain. Whatever wrong thing you may think is happening out there is always happening primarily inside your mind in here. The more resistance, judgment, and anger we've built up around this particular idea out there, the greater the joy you'll feel when you shift your relationship with it inside yourself and move on. Release your negative mood so that you can return to the source of who and what you spiritually are. Truly, who and what we are. Are we our name? What others think of us? We're just this physical body filled with meat, blood, and emotional bones. Perhaps there's a deeper spiritual aliveness that is real inside of us. If we believe that we are our thoughts, then ask yourself who and what is watching and listening to them go by. See, all of us are the watcher. The watcher is the real you. You're not any of these thoughts. You just became too close to your thoughts and got overly identified with them. The very moment we return to who and what we are, this pure conscious witness who abides at the source of thought, then we are home free. And we must choose to truly, deeply, and sweetly relax fully into our body, so that there is no tension hiding inside of us anywhere. When we can fully relax inside, we become deeply aware beings again. It's easy to see how insignificant and fleeting thoughts actually are. Like a dragonfly, you ever had that happen? Like be by the water or something, a reed, marsh, cattails, sunny day. And you just, boom, there it is right in front of you. Darting right around. The next minute you look away, go back, it's gone. When our body is relaxed, we can see how fleeting each thought is and how easy it is to completely change them. The more we can feel into the spiritual truth of who and what we are, we naturally pull back our attention to our real selves. It just feels good, doesn't it? So we naturally do it. Our spiritual nature takes care of us. And we can effortlessly enjoy this life, which means we have stopped dwelling on the negative. Our bad mood turns around, and we see the beauty in everything. We are grateful for this life again, even for the opportunity to shift out of this negative space. We appreciate, love, and enjoy this simple experience of being alive. We understand that if we cannot see God in all, we cannot see God at all. And when you can move yourself into an understanding of deep eternal gratitude, gentleness, kindness, humbleness, generosity, in a constant state of appreciation, gratitude, thankfulness, it will absolutely shift your whole life. And obviously you practice this on a continual basis. It's not once in a great while. So you like it. That's our motivation. We like it. We like the feeling. We enjoy the feeling. We like to be in deep gratitude. It's our natural state of being. Being in disarray, confused, irritated, angry is not our natural state of being. Now, we always have choice. We really do. And we always have the choice to be what? Grateful for what is, or not grateful for what is. We have the power to choose what kinds of thoughts and feelings we focus on and eventually manifest into our lives. We can choose to adopt an unending attitude of gratitude or remain strapped to the judgmental, fear-based merry-go-round of the mind. Choosing gratitude is choosing freedom, and will make our lives easier than we will ever imagine. It will bring us such a vast experience of love that we will freely feel and experience our own soul. And it's a choice across the board. And some of us make choices where we'll say to ourselves, I'm not going to choose that again, right? I think we've all been there more than once. So either way, however you choose. And how it turns out depends on what your perspective of this life is. What happens when you have an entire civilization serving each other? That's pure bliss. And this embracing, making the choice to embrace gratitude as a way of living your life, your daily life, is like opening the door to a brilliant new world where the sun is always shining its warmth inside your heart wherever you are. You naturally feel the divine love and abundance that is inside you and all around you. A heart that is brimming with gratitude does not allow the mind to be cluttered with ideas, opinions, and attachment to desires. It knows itself as the source of love itself. If you have trouble staying in touch with your heart's natural grateful connection, you may have let your mind or an inner judge attempt to squash this flame of love. The fire is not dead by any means. It just needs a little stirring. The heart that is forever thankful always breaks free from the ego's contracted thought pattern. Now, some of the challenges, if you feel that your shields are too thick, become quiet enough inside yourself to get in touch with the core of your heart. Create some time to relax and be very, very, very still. This will help you dig beneath the shields, resistance, wounding from the past. Use the breath as a vehicle to take you deeper inside so that you can go beneath this false protection. Use the breath, your breath, as a vehicle to take you deeper inside so that you can go beneath this false protection. All armor is created for the ego, by the ego, and within the ego. It is all unnecessary weight, since the soul is like sunlight and does not need defending. Once this armor is released, you will naturally feel a lighter, warmer feeling inside, and a deep state of gratitude will surface and pour through you into this world. Now, I'm not saying that, taking off one's ego armor can be tricky, because it can be. Any moment that your mind gets derailed, goes down the dark path of frustration, victim story, fear of complaining, it can be as easy as asking yourself, what's one thing that I am grateful for right now? The good news is that there is always at least one thing that you can be grateful for, no matter what is happening in your life. Perhaps it's that you have the power to imagine a new you, your health, good friend, or just that you are still breathing. Whenever any of us cannot see the silver lining around the dark clouds in our lives, simply open your heart, breathe deeply, and then think about as many things as you can to be grateful for in each moment. There are so many incredible things that you can be grateful for, large and small. Just open your heart, relax, look at the bigger picture. Soon you will realize how truly, deeply, eternally loved you already are. Living in this state of gratitude, constant, does not take work. It simply takes more awareness. Gratitude is our most natural way of being when we are present, when we connect with our natural essence and pure consciousness within. We can see and feel the divinity within everything. This is not something strange that needs to be learned like judging cantaloupes. It's as easy as taking a fresh breath of air. So make it your number one priority to be aware of gratitude. Notice how much it is already a part of your life and what it will feel like to bathe in 24 hours a day. Join you in a meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. When you drop all these demands, change your outer world so that you can feel happy, safe, comfortable, or free. You can use that same energy to heal any negative reaction you're having inside. As your thoughts and intentions shift from constantly pointing at the outside world to focusing on the source of thought within you, you will naturally start feeling more empowered. By placing all of your attention on accepting your inner self and making peace with your outer world exactly as it is, your entire version of reality will change. People will also feel your inner connection and start treating you as if you are an empowered person. And the more soft, kind, gentle that you interact with yourself, then everyone else feels compelled to give you back that same sweet, gentle vibe as well. It's one of the greatest miracles you'll witness on this planet today. And as you start seeing everyone through these new eyes, you'll notice how everything else in your life shifts and glows with this new loving light. It's amazing how our outer world is always the most spectacular, perfect mirror. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Sunday, March 24, 2024, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you.